We are inching closer to the 2027 elections. Everything Nigerians are saying and doing now is about who wins the next election. The PDP is going through its turmoil. It has a large section of its members declare support for the presidential ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and some of the members who do not like that idea have moved out to the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. And in several states, we've had PDP members, including governors, the governors of Delta State, governor of Kwara Ibom State, move out to the APC. And in the South now, we only have Governor Diri Doye sitting as the only PDP governor in the South. As well, we've had rumors about the governor of Enugu State, who is of the PDP extraction, moving into the APC. And of course, nobody knows what 2027 holds, but people believe that somehow the APC may be in trouble if the opposition political parties put their acts together. There is no end yet to the crisis within the opposition parties and how they will put their acts together. Or they may still work and produce maybe 3 or 2 presidential candidates to stand against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And people believe that if that happens, the presidential election would have been won for the APC, sealing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second term in office. But however, the issue about the election is about numbers that bring unpredictable results. With me in the studio to look at the figures of the previous election and how election results can tell us what may happen in the future is a mathematician and a political analyst. He was also a journalist. I'm referring to Mr. Gbenga Giwa, with whom we worked together at the Good Luck Sambo campaign organization in 2010-2011. Mr. Giwa, you're welcome.
Thank you, Honorable. It's a pleasure being here.
Now, if we had to look at the election results upfront from the 2 or 3 books that you have written on elections, which states will you see as states that we should watch to know who the next president will be elected?
Once again, thank you for having me here. Now, talking about your question. From what we've seen over the years, from 1999 up to 2023 elections, we have had 7 elections in total. And from these 7 elections, 2 states, surprisingly, stood out as states that voted for every winning president. I can't believe those 2 states. They are Kwara and Kogi. Every president that has won the election has won Kogi and Kwara. It's quite surprising if you don't go through the details. So that is one point, that the next president must work towards winning those 2 states. So when the elections are coming in and you see that one person has won the 2 states, the tendency that is likely to win the presidential election.
Yeah, but that is presuming, of course, that things stay the same. But if you look at the elections, if you look at the states now, the states are strongly APC states. Are you suggesting that if we go by that trend, we should just forget about the next election that is already concluded?
No, we can't say that. Even when those states are PDP, they still voted for the president. It's normal for those 2 states to be in the winning team. Now, what I'm saying is, now if you look at the elections results too, you will find out that we have 5 biggest states in the country. They are Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, Rivers, and Katsina states. These 5 states constitute 1/4 of the entire total registration in Nigeria. Those 5 states. And president must win at least 3 of those states to become president. At the very least.
But that was until 2025, because from the data you have,
yes,
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the presidential election, but he lost in Lagos, he lost Kano, he lost Kaduna, he lost Katsina. He only won barely in Rivers State.
Yes, I agree, but that's, to me, kind of abnormal. because it shows that possibly one can also spring a surprise in the next election if care is not taken. But generally, in the previous 6 elections, we see that those 5 states, president must win 3 of at least of those 5. Only Tinubu, defied that trend.
So in 1999, and Obasanjo lost Lagos, won in Kano, Kaduna, and Rivers and Katsina. In 2003, President Obasanjo again lost Kano and Katsina and won in Lagos, Kaduna, and Rivers. In 2007, President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua lost Lagos and Kano, but he won in Kaduna, Rivers, and Katsina. President Jonathan as well lost in 2 states. He lost Katsina, he lost Kano in 2011, and then won in Lagos, he won in Kaduna and Rivers. It's only President Muhammadu Buhari and President Yar'Adua in 2000 and President Obasanjo in 1999 who lost only in one of those four states. But if you look at the political trend now, from the data that you've been collecting, which of the states will still go APC and go... Well, the other parties are still undefined. PDP is still saying that it's interested in contesting the elections. And we don't know whether Peter Obi is going to move out of the Labour Party or is going to contest or be part of the coalition. So I don't know whether we can read any meaning into this.
I will say that because of the thing about Nigerian situation, talking about religion and ethnicity, the swing states, mostly will be in the same, not central states, where you have Plateau and Benue states who can flip if the conditions are right. And for now, we have the last elections, 2023. I think APC won in Benue and Obi won in Plateau. So these are the states that could, swing one way or the other for either any candidate that is presented for the election. Believe that invariably, from what President Tinubu did in 2023, it is important to have good spread over the entire states instead of concentrating in one state or having just winning in one zone. You have to win in 2 or 3 more zones before you can be assured of the presidency.
Yeah, if we are talking about zones, in the last election, I think it was only President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who won in 4 zones. Vice President Atiku Abubakar, I think, won only in the northeast where he comes from. And Peter Obi won only in the southeast where he comes from, even though North Central was very competitive for the parties in the last election.
Yeah, in the last election, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar actually won more states in the north than any of those. He won 9 states in the north. Out of the 12 states he won 9 states in the north and 3 states in the south. Obi won 3 states in the north and 9 states in the south. It was Tinubu that won 7 states in the north and 5 states in the south. That spread gave him the chance to, win the presidency.
So, what does that say about what we are to expect in the next election?
Well, I believe that the presidency is still up for grab, because the insinuation that the current President Tinubu, will have it all its way is not that easy. I keep saying that 24 hours is a long time in politics. If the idea that almost everybody is endorsing the president for 2023, it may not be what the people will want or what people will do. I think that the president still needs to do his own work very well, not rely on all this endorsement, and go and sit down and do the needful and work the numbers as he did in 2023, and rely on some of these politicians who, for example, I will give you an example. In 2023, some governors declared that they're going to support Tinubu, and they as a governor, as a sitting governor, they couldn't even win their senatorial seats.
You are talking about people like
Autumn from
Benue
State and Igwain from Enugu State.
You may as well say the same thing about Ifeanyi Okowa of the vice presidential candidate of Vice President Atiku in 2023, because as well did not deliver his state, that is Delta State, for Atiku.
No, it did not.
As a matter of fact, from the statistics, those appear as if PDP even came third during the election. If you look at the south zone, you look at Delta. Atiku came second, 161,000 votes. Tinubu came third with 90,000 votes. Peter Obi, Labour Party in Delta State, he got 55.
No, 300.
He got 55%.
Yes.
Of the votes. If you look at the total number of votes received by Governor Peter Obi and Vice President Atiku Abubakar, if you put them together and the states they won, they would have simply defeated easily. But it does appear that from what we're hearing, the two are not likely to work together. So it does appear that we may just have a repeat in 2027 of what happened in 2023.
They don't form a coalition. They don't form a team. You know, the tendency that it will be a walkover for President Tinubu. I can assure you that if they don't work together, the two of them must work together to have any chance at all to defeat President Tinubu in 2027. One must be president and one must be vice. If you ask me, the chances of beating President Tinubu is much more higher with Obi as the candidate. I'm telling you. I don't subscribe to the idea that you need to have a northerner to fight southerner before you can win the election, before you can defeat the incumbent. That theory will not work in this situation because it happened in 2003. President Buhari faced incumbent Obasanjo and he still lost. So if Atiku is facing Tinubu in 2027, there's no guarantee that he will win based on past experience. But if you have Obi as a candidate and Tinubu as candidate for APC, Obi as candidate for the coalition, they will split the southern votes and they will now go to the north and fish for their
facts on themselves. If you look at the number of states won, Atiku clearly has more states that he won in the last election.
He won, yes, but it's not far from Tinubu. He won 9 in the north. Tinubu won 7 in the north. So if Obi goes there, and don't forget, Obi also won 3 in the north. So the 19 states in the north we have a spread. The one person that will be able to swing the victory one way or the other is what Alhaji Ifokazo does, endorses Tinubu, then possibly that will be the magic wand that will wait for Tinubu. But if otherwise,
but people argue for Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso that by standing election he has made the large votes from Kano irrelevant to presidential elections.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I agree completely. It's a fact because the Kano is the second largest voting state in Nigeria. And if you win that state and you can't do anything in other states, that means there's no point. The significance is lost on other votes.
Okay, now let me ask you as we run up. There's this controversy that the former secretary to the government of the federation brought. That is the barrister
Boss
Mustafa, namely that the contribution of Tinubu to Buhari's victory in 2015 was tangential because Buhari always had 12 million votes. Well, and then from the election result of 2023, it does appear as if those Buhari votes, a very large percentage of the Buhari votes did not go to Tinubu, they went to Atiku.
Yeah, because there was this rumor at that time that, I want to say this, the cabal in the presidency of Tinubu, Buhari, Kaba was not supporting their candidate. That is, they were supporting Tinubu. So they were supporting Atiku. And I think that was what contributed to that situation where you have, for example, even in Katsina, APC lost in Katsina, home state of the president, to Atiku. So these are the things I think contributed to it because of the situation, the particular situation where the majority of people in APC did not actually support President Tinubu to win the election. If you look at it, apart from the president himself, no other person, no other big wig in that party supported Tinubu. You have the vice president Oshibajo, you have the senate president Lawan, you have the chairman of the party at that time Abdullahi Adamu. All of them were against Tinubu and except the president. And even at that, even the president, from what people are saying, his body language was that, let me just allow a free and fair election. And I didn't support anybody. So that contributed to Tinubu not having the majority of votes. But going forward in 2027, without the support of, without the combination of Atiku and Obi, the chances of the coalition winning the election in 2027 is very, very remote. And if peradventure Senator Kwankwaso supports Tinubu, that's the end.
Well, we've been talking the last few minutes with this journalist, Gbenga Giwa, and copies of his books are available on Amazon. The address or the details will be in the description of this video. If you want to know the election data about Nigeria from the time we started,
1999.
From 1999
there are three
to
books.
date, there are 3 books that he has. They are showing on the screen now, and you can grab your copy from Amazon. Thank you for watching. Please like our video, share it, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to get more value from what we do, because there are documents that we are using for the researches that we are doing that will only be available for members. There's a link on this video. Click to join our channel. As a member of the channel, you will get videos before others, you will get data, and you can request for more information that will be made available to you. Again, this is Majalisah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.